All right, now we got to get started on the skid plate, and this has been something I've been thinking about for a long time. I want to implement aluminum and steel. Now, if you remember when I built the racks for this thing, I used a bunch of this 5/8 inch tubing. So I want to continue to use that, and I want to make this thing be a very easy bolt-on, bolt-off option. So what I am thinking so far, I've made some counter bores here. These are just a simple part, and these go on the center stand mount. And that is going to be my rear tie-in point for these bars. And what I'm thinking is I'll take the 5/8 inch tubing, run it forward along the bottom here. And then, of course, we have our ears here on the block. Now, I don't want to put a lot of stress on these things. This is not going to be a full like bash guard. You don't want to go throwing this thing up and slamming it down on a log or anything like that. But mainly this will act as a rock guard. So I need some kind of front attach point. So what I'm thinking, like I said, run the bar up here, and then if I can do it right, I'll have a curve going up this way, directly underneath this tab. That'll curve in. I'll have a curve bringing it back down, and then we'll do the same thing on the other side. And then where this curve is, I'll fill this. I'll have one piece of aluminum bent and just be like a nice plate you can mount there. And I think that'll look good, keep it light, and keep a little bit more rigidity maybe with the steel. So I know I don't necessarily need that outer cage, but I don't know, kind of just seems like it would fit the look of the bike. I'm just kind of curious to try it. So I'm going to set up the bender and just kind of start going. I did fall on my foot. Damn. Why this one's climbing so bad? Well, that's one way to hold it in place, getting ready to weld this thing. Check it out. Kind of like some Rube Goldberg kind of mechanism going on, but one guy here, so this will work just fine. These pivot points, because they are square to the bike, I can weld this at a weird angle like that and just go ahead and tack these on and then rotate it up. We can probably remove this brace at that point or relocate it because it hits the exhaust. There's another reason I'm doing this. So also, you notice I switched hats because my hands are dirty. I don't want to get this beautiful cat hat dirty. That's from a friend. Got to get my own hats dirty. So if you want one of these things, I have them on the website still, so check it out. But back to this thing, let's go ahead and get this tacked up and keep building. Live from under the bike, Brickhouse Builds. Oh yeah. Ooh. Hold that one a bit ways away. this should be close enough to where I can now take this piece of aluminum, and my buddy has a slip roll, so we're gonna put this in the slip roll and try to match this radius the best we can. Now when I did the seat pan, I bent everything kind of just on the bench here, but I'd like to try to do it in a more precise manner. So that's what we're gonna do. And once we're done, it should just require a little bit of trimming, and we'll build our brackets and tabs off of this to then bolt this to it. So hop on the bike, go to my buddy's house, and see if we can make this happen. Looks like it'd be about even. Okay. So that's my plan. Heat right there. And just start bending that section. Assisting it, but works, you know.
You're doing it all wrong. Oh my god. And you call yourself a slip roll expert?
Yeah, this one's gonna be the commenters are gonna love this one. Okay.
You should never wear gloves near a slip roll. It will rip your hand right off.
So this one, you said this thing's from like the 1880s or something, or 1860s?
1880s, I think. Maybe 1890s.
I'm sure there's a lot of 1890s slip roll experts still
Oh,
out there.
for sure.
You know,
absolutely.
using the wrong clamps. You know,
Yeah.
I'm putting the majority of my weight on my right leg where I should be on my left leg.
That's a classic mistake.
You know,
Making
rookie
slip roll
stuff.
Noobs.
Such a waste. Ruined it. Would be better. Oh, wait, I'm talking. I gotta stop talking.
Yeah.
Well, no, everybody hates when I talk. Will this make it into the video? I don't know.
So the patent for that is 1887, and the patent
It's
expired.
100 years before. Wait, no, sorry, 1887. Yeah, 100 years before I was born.
And the patent expired in 1904, I think. So.
The old expired patent thing. People take advantage of it. No one knows that better than Lego. It's that off-brand like Mega Blocks or whatever, you know. Or Dupo? Yeah.
Yeah. Or Duplo?
I think it might have an L in it.
Diplo? Not like a rapper or something? Duplo, Illinois?
Oh, maybe that's why it's familiar.
Yeah.
last piece of the puzzle. We have our aluminum on here, and it's looking good. We have everything kind of flush mounted or countersunk here. So mounting this, I knew this from the get-go. This spot right here, just this bolt, will actually interfere with the aluminum based off of where the cage will be. So I've taken some spray paint, went ahead and just put some on there. We're going to put this on and leave a witness mark here and see where we have to clearance. And what I'm thinking initially is I'll just do like a fillet on this thing, just do like a straight cut, kind of hammer it out, and just give like a little bit of an indentation, and then just weld the seam of it, and we should be good to go. Let's see how this thing fits. Alright, we have our witness mark, that top spot there. So almost didn't get any paint on that area, but we prevailed. So now I got to figure out how I want to clearance that and figure out about how much I will need to. Now, I'm definitely going to do this with it still bolted to the frame. That way nothing distorts when I go to weld it, because I don't want anything moving. So probably going to get the Dremel out, do a little relief cut, and go from there. I know. Y'all saw that coming. Sure doesn't look pretty, but it'll work. Super close. I'm gonna cut a little higher, flay that out like about right there. Should be good. Well, it appears that we have mock-up complete. So I've gone ahead and I've got this thing finished in 220 grit right now with the DA. Just spent some time on it, and I will take it up to probably 300 or like 320, maybe even 600, and I want to put like a grain into it. But I can do that when the bike is in like final assembly stages. But for now, I just want to get this thing on the bike and move on to the next project. So one thing I didn't directly talk about was the countersunk hardware here. So it's got a metric Phillips head, like an M6 here, just 5 mounting points. Seems very sturdy, and I took a lot of care to make sure that this didn't distort this and this didn't distort this. So I got them as close as I possibly could. So that fits in there really nice. Everything should be very flush with the outside of the tube, and everything fits on the bike really well. Very happy with it. Let's get this thing on here. Nice, solid piece. Not excessively heavy. And yeah, it's more complicated than it needs to be because I made it. Duh, I don't do anything any other way. But I had the idea in my head, and this works out well. Again, this is not something you want to go drop the bike onto, but it will help with the impact on the clutch cover and the oil filter cover, just with rocks and things like that, because it will inevitably pick stuff up. And of course, the bottom of the engine, which is just air exposed case. There's no frame to protect it, no exhaust to protect it, so you need the protection for where this bike is going, which is hopefully everywhere. Well, the skid plate is done. I am pretty damn pleased with how it turned out, and I know it's not 100% finished. I'll likely add a couple holes to the bottom. Nothing big, but you know, you do want to let water and maybe some gravel fall out and stuff, and whenever you're washing it. Now, I know a comment that I will get is, well, what about the oil filter, changing the fluids, that kind of thing? This thing's only 2 bolts, as you see, and it just slides off real easy, so it's no big deal. It's not like really any more of a convenience just to remove it to change the oil, instead of trying to, you know, drain it through a designated hole here and just making a mess. So not a big deal. Take this thing off and you're good to go. I do really like how this thing turned out, though. I think it has a nice clean shape. It works with the rest of the things that I've made on the bike, and it just fits the aesthetic, and it will actually add protection for, of course, that clutch cover. This is kind of a cool feature. You know, I know some people might think it looks a little weird, and of course it looks weird, but I like it. It's just a neat little detail. It makes you ask questions about it, and like, what's going on there? So just to clear that clutch cover. And I knew I was going to have to do that because I wanted to tuck this as close as possible to the clutch cover here and just get it back as far as possible, you know, like for tire clearance and stuff like that. So we're really getting into the home stretch here. So if this is the first video you've seen on the bike, I have other videos here in the playlist showing kind of start to where we are now. And then we are actually really getting into the home stretch as far as the last of the fabrication before teardown. So I have to work on the front fender, build some radiator fins here. I have to do a couple little things back there, and we will soon be tearing this thing down. So it shouldn't be too bad. There's gonna be a lot of powder coat on this one just to kind of speed the process along, rebuild the forks, paint everything else, you know, finish weld the exhaust, among other things. and then wire the bike and we'll be good to go. So not sure what the ETA is for the bike, but it is my main priority right now. So expect videos on this as we go. But I hope you guys like this video. Hopefully, or maybe this gave you some ideas on how to tackle this project on your bike. So I know the CX500s are not the easiest thing to work around, but I think we got a cool solution here. So again, I hope you guys like this video. Hope to see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.